And greetings, Kerbal Killers. Welcome back. It's been just over a week. My apologies for that. As I announced, PC upgrades were on the go. Had a few quite major issues. I'm going to solve most of them. So let's crack on with things, shall we? Wonderful little screen slideshow on the go. Some of the things I've gotten up to over my 15-18 months of KSP, something like that. Just thought I'd chuck them up into OBS so that people can take a look, and well, some of them are misfortunes, so have a laugh. So, new set of streams on the go. We have Mod Mondays, which is all about mods, how to install them, for one. How to basically look at the insides of the mod, what can be changed, what can you change, basically partially tearing the mod apart and seeing what's actually in it, what makes what. Then we have Kerbalverse Wednesdays. Kerbalverse Wednesdays combines with Film Fridays in that on Wednesdays we modify one of my KSP installs to basically function as a film set, which backs onto Film Fridays. Film Fridays are when I'm going to be setting up for filming KSP Life Universe and Everything series, or rather continue it. It's a series that I started back in July, July I should say. Unfortunately, certain things in my life required all my spare time and a lot of cash, so I was unable to continue it. So I'm going to be continuing it live on stream, so you'll be able to see certain things that I'm doing, and you'll actually be able to see some of the recordings. So, where do we start is a very good question. Well, as you've seen on the little banner that I did, we have major edits to the KSP universe itself. So, how do you change the orbits of planets and stuff? Well, for that, we do need a mod. And we need to switch over to KSP itself. So I've just realised I've not set up the KSP up. Hang on. Just bear with me. There we go. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I've actually done. while we're waiting, all the music on this stream is by Kevin MacLeod from incompetech.com. Free to use music, so feel free to go to the website and take a look. That's incompetech.com. So we're going to take a look at the tracking center. First thing is, where's Minmus? Minmus? Really, he can be that big of a pain. Always do it that way. Where's Minmus? We have indeed put Minmus into an orbit around the Mun. Yes, it's on rails. It can't move. Unless you edit it. And of course, round Minmus we put a couple of asteroids just for fun. In various orbits. Now, you're probably going to ask, what else have I done? Oh yeah. There's Lathe. There's Tylo. There's Bot. There's Paul. What was that I hear you say? Where's Val? It's an orbit around Lathe, of course. Yeah, quite close. Very, very low orbit that one is. So, how do you do it? Well, you know, Elu's all the way out there. I think it needs to be a little bit more weird. So, I'm going to show you how to change stuff. One mod that you're going to need, unfortunately, can't be done without a mod, and that's HyperEdit. Heard a lot of people saying that they used HyperEdit to do stuff. HyperEdit can do a lot more than just chucking crafts into orbit. So, we've copied HyperEdit over. See Mod Mondays for how to do that, and there are no visible buttons for it. Of course not. Hold down Alt, hit H, and up comes the HyperEdit menu. And why is it just done that? It's the back. Go back over there. So, you've got Orbit Editor, which edits orbits of crafts. So you can take a craft that's on the pad and throw it into any orbit that you want. Commonly featured, we're not looking at that. Well, kind of. If you go into the orbit editor, select an orbit to edit, you've got everything. Asteroids, and then you've got the planets as well. So in this case, we're going to grab Elu. There it is. And that tells you body that it's orbiting is the Sun, and that's the altitude. So it's okay the way it is. No, it's not. It's stock. So if we go into complex, you've got its height. Go into complex, you've got the inclination and the eccentricity. The eccentricity is, of course, how circular the orbit is. Well, 6.15, and we'll see. You know what, let's go and pick a random number of, say, 27 degrees. Yep, still around the sun. Eccentricity. Let's have a bit of fun with that. What happens if we give, say, 37? Something like that. And then the body is the sun. Yeah, we want to keep it orbiting the sun. And say set. And hey presto. Very eccentric orbit. And very inclined. Now, one thing to be careful of is that you don't accidentally make two planets collide. I have no idea what the hell the game engine is going to do if you do that. Certainly planets that come within close proximity of each other, you're going to have a hell of a lot of fun with craft orbiting them, and even craft that are on the surface. So one thing to bear in mind is if I can see it. Oh, it's in the planet editor, that's why. This over here. Go into the planet editor. Let's go and grab ELO, for example. You can set the gravity and its temperature here. You can say whether it has an atmosphere or not, and the atmospheric pressure and atmospheric height. Wonderful. However, what we really want to be careful of is the sphere of influence in meters, because if you have two planets that are close enough together, right, then you will have a heck of a lot of fun with their sphere of influences. The game engine does not entirely correctly simulate the gravity spheres of bodies. So what ends up happening is one of them will override the other one, which means a craft that's in orbit around one may suddenly find that it gets flung out into deep space, because even though it's still within orbit of one, its SOI changes to another one, and of course the other planet's gravity is different, perhaps lower or even higher, I suppose. If it's higher, it gets dragged in, and if it's lower, it gets thrown out. So be very, very careful with the SOIs. Now, as you saw, I had edited Minmus to be in very close proximity to the Mun, and when I did that, if you go back into the planet editor, open up Minmus, the SOI is set to 25,000. Very small amount. Now it's orbiting 30,000 above the Mun, which means there's a 5,000 gap as it's spinning round. So anything that's on the surface of the Mun won't get an SOI change, so it won't get dragged up off the surface potentially. But at 25,000, it will cause an issue to any spaceship orbiting. So it's high enough up that something orbiting at, say, 100k isn't going to collide with Minmus, but it will enter Minmus's SOI, which means potentially it will just get shot out into space, because Minmus has a lower gravity. Now, one thing that I have done here, I have assigned a slight atmosphere to Minmus. Basically, you just want a sort of vapor blanket over it. So that's basically how you do that. And of course you can change its gravity there, which I think is pretty much the same as what it was. Its surface temperature, and you can select whether it's tidally locked. So if we go and take a look at ELU, let's go ahead and zoom in here. As you can see, it's just a ball of, well, white ball. Oops, nope, right answer. So if we take a look at it, I haven't changed its planet characteristics at all, so it's pretty much exactly the same. Greetings, Shirty. Yep, as I mentioned at the start of the stream, I've been upgrading the PC and whatnot. Unfortunately ran into a few problems. So, back to where we were. In fact, I'll chuck that screen over to here. So in this particular case, I've pretty much left the planet as it is. But as I just demonstrated, I have now made it very inclined and very eccentric in its orbit. But you know, most of these planets are a little bit too flat. I think Dres needs editing. Alright. Dres. Let's take a look. Inclination of 5 degrees. That's a bit pants. Eccentricity of 0.145. That's also a bit pants. Oh, let's go and make that a 2. You know, I've also had a thought. Why do all the planets rotate in the same direction? Strictly speaking, there's no real reason, apart from like how the universe is created, but there's no reason why you can't find a planet that was basically captured by the sun after the universe was created. So why would that planet rotate in the same direction? The answer is it doesn't. So how do you set that up? Well, what happens if you give it an inclination of, say, I don't know, 180? Bit like that. Goes ahead and swings it round in the opposite direction. Yeah, that should be up as well, so make it 170. There we go, that's better. Now that looks a bit more like a Kerbalverse. Yeah. Good luck landing on Dres, by the way. So, anything else for Dres that we want to change? Go ahead and zoom in. Do we want an atmosphere? Nah, it's just a rock. Let's go and leave it right the way it is. So, what else do we want to change? Well, let's have a look at Moho, shall we? Looks a bit flat to me. It's only a 7-degree inclination and only 0.2 eccentricity. Let's go and change that. 21. That looks a bit better. Much more weird. Again, nothing but a rock on this one. You know, it's probably a bit too close to the sun. Let's go and leave it there. What about Eve? Eve, the purple planet. Greetings, Kamuchi. Looks good. I just made a planet go in the opposite direction, orbiting the sun. So, let's go ahead and change this one, shall we? It's a bit circular, that does to me. What are we going to say? 0.15? Let's see if it hits anything. Yeah, one thing, as I mentioned earlier, that I really don't know how the game engine's going to handle it, is if you manage to make two planets physically collide. I have no clue what on earth's going to happen. So that's the eccentricity done. Inclination, it's only 2 degrees inclined. What happens if you go -5? There we go, that kicks it up a bit. Never edited the planets. Well, here's some fun for you. It is of course Dres that's orbiting in the wrong direction. And then Elu, you know, the one that everyone moans about being so inclined and so far out that it's really difficult to get to. Yeah, it's even more difficult to get to now. And that's looking a little bit more realistic. And much more fun to play in. And that's what we like. We like fun things. And of course, the dual system is just complete and utter chaos. Yeah, a lot of Delta V required. And hey presto, we have a complete chaos system for dual. That's actually a good screenshot. I quite like that. Now that's good. Oh no, slightly off here. Yep, that's the whole point. Now that looks like a chaotic universe. So let's get rid of them and go make a screenshot. Oh, go get that. So, just to recap, we did of course put Minmus in orbit around the Moon. And also shoved a few asteroids around Minmus. And then coming back out again, we change some of the other planets. Moho, Eve, Dres is now spinning in the wrong direction, or should I say orbiting in the wrong direction. We've got Elu going way up and out, and the Joule system looks like a complete and utter mess. Yep. I think I mentioned that before you join Shirty. You've got to change the SOIs. When you put two planets in close proximity to each other, you've got to change the SOIs, because if basically KSP does not simulate gravity properly between bodies, so one SOI will override another one. Now, normally, in a normal Kerbalverse, this wouldn't be an issue because they're far enough apart. However, if, like I have with the Mun and Minmus, Minmus is orbiting the Mun at 300 kilometers, if it's got its normal SOI, it's basically going to be covering the entire surface of the Mun, which means anything that you try and land on the Mun will have the wrong SOI and will be pulled off the surface. So the SOI for Minmus was changed to 250 kilometers. Now this allows you to land anything on the surface and it'll stay down there on the surface. However, if you have something in orbit that's above 50 kilometers around the Mun, there is a very good chance while you're time warping that it will intercept Minmus's SOI and get thrown out into space, which is always good fun. So it means you have to do a very close orbit to the Mun, or of course orbit at like 1 million kilometers, 1 million meters. So there's a nice, wonderful, chaotic universe to play in. Well, there are a few people that I've seen that's saying that the universe, the Kerbalverse is too easy and they're adding planets to it. well, never mind adding planets. The Kerbalverse was designed by Squad to be progressively harder to get to. So why not just reset them all to be ridiculous values that you're going to have a complete and utter nightmare trying to get to? And I've just shown you how to do it. Much more entertaining, much more hair loss, and a great load of fun. Now, where is it? I have to go and save all the planets that have changed. Which one did it change? You know what, just go through them all. So when you change a planet, its orbit, its SOI, etc, etc. Within HyperEdit, make sure you hit the Save Planets config file. Otherwise, when you restart KSP, it won't be in that orbit anymore. Which one did I just do? Come on, I thought of it. Bit of a pain having to go through them all one by one, but oh well. Which one was that one? Luna. That does, yeah. Why on earth they can't have a save all button, I'm not quite sure, but oh well. It's I don't think it's in a per save state shit. I think it's the entire install for KSP that it changes. Can you see Minmus from the Mun's surface? You can see Minmus from Kerbin orbiting the Mun. I actually have a screen cap of a plane sat on a runway, and the Mun was just coming up over the horizon. I think it was at night time as well. Yep, it's quite easy to see the Mun from Kerbin. It's even more annoying when you end up with eclipses, which really, I probably should incline the Mun a bit more. But still. Come on. So, a lot of other utilities that can be used within HyperEdit. Ship lander that'll put your ship on the surface. Various others. Teeth back in. Various other utilities like getting rid of ships, etc., which I'm not quite sure why, since you can do that from the tracking center anyway. know, no matter which way I spin this around, the new orbits just look cool. A little bit boring from the top. So, there's a whole wonderful way of completely and utterly changing your Kerbalverse. In fact, I would go so far as to say, if you want a complete and utter nightmare verse, that's how you do it. Welcome to the screen, Ghost. How are you today? And of course, also welcome Empata 2000. Which reminds me, actually thinking about it, I will leave that there for you guys. I need to go there. Before I forget, there is a few people I need to thank for following. In that one. So we have Ilikar 2, Shedster 1, Blazing Gunship, and Pata 2000, thank you for following. Thunder God 97, Star Sparrow, KSP Kerbalverse, and Shun the Hug 92. Each of those people have received a follow in return, if I wasn't following them already. Well, I'm going to enjoy playing on this Kerbalverse. So, let's go and have a look at some of the mods that actually change your Kerbalverse. So, just bear with me one moment. Nope, not that window. That one. Yep, no problem, Kamichi. Thank you for stopping by. Feel free to drop in at any time. Is that Chiz Wheel? Something like that. Music is by I was going to say Colin McRae then. Oh, what a fail that would be. Music's by Kevin MacLeod from incompetech.com. It's free to use music, so feel free to take a look and download at will. So, tricking over to my right hand monitor. I quite often troll the community mods and plugins library on KSP's forum. You can find just about anything for changing your KSP. So from API, armory stuff, which still hasn't been updated yet. Hyper edits under cheats. Is it a cheat? No. It can be used for cheating. EVA, IVA HUDs, etc. all in this section. Flags, if you're wanting more flags for your KSP, that's where they are. Funds and career has its own section. Game objects and features. Info and control. That's like info and control is like MechJeb, automatic stuff, atmospheric trajectories, what else will be on there? Kerbal engineer, stuff like that. Everything for sort of navigation and displaying information about your ship and its orbit, etc. Or flight if you're in an atmosphere. So quite a long section. Earth, wind, fire and water. Probably one of the weirdest sections going, but boat parts and submarines, airships, Gatling guns, a procedural airship as well. Wonderful. So if you wanted stuff for floating around atmospheres, they're the mods that you want to take a look at. Life support, yep, we've got that. We use TAC life support. Oh god, hey up. I need to go and switch windows. Yes, English only, please, in chat. So, some of the stuff that I use quite regularly. Remote tech. Going to be setting up remote tech networks at some point. Scansat mapping, Scansat terrain mapping terrain, really. And somewhere, although it's not in mapping, I think it's in resources, we'll find regolith, which has been heavily featured. So looking down, is there anything to do with modding planets? Oh, that'll be this section. So let's take a look at some of the stuff that's in here. Well, anything that says soon probably isn't 0.9. But then again, it depends on how often they actually update this page. But the mod name is basically there, and a link to its page, and usually a brief description of what it does. So if we have a look at some of these, custom asteroids, asteroid cities, Kerbal's asteroid belt. There isn't an asteroid belt in the stock game. Let's take a look. Well, you can take a look at these basically at will. But basically, making an asteroid belt between Duna and Jool and it's having an issue with lag. So he's put up some screen caps of the work that he's been doing so far. Nice lot of asteroids. Bizarro. Taking a look at what he's done. Well, could be interesting. Feel free to take a look. What are we looking for? Looking for something unique. Oh, adds 5 more moons to the Kerbin system. Oh, let's take a look at this. We always love screen caps looking at stuff. Oh, try not to right click and scroll around. You know, this reminds me of shopping. Looking for basically mods to give you additional planets. Yes, Pedro. No. Nice yellow planet there. Kinda like that one. But green and white. Looks a bit sickly. Ooh, chi. Now is that just a lighting effect from the sun? Or have they tried to make it look like it's got molten rock? That's a new one. Looks like cheese. Yeah. Purple and... what would we say? There you go, that's them pretty close. That's going to be fun to fly a ship though. Now that's what I call an eclipse. You know, that could be interesting. So, having a read, first thing the installation instructions tell you to do is to download the Planet Factory mod. All of the mods feature basically instructions on how to install them. It's pretty much straightforward. This one's a little bit complicated because it's a mod for a mod. So the Planet Factory mod basically just gives you framework for creating planets. which of course you can then do yourself if you really wish to. Nice little video here of that basically they've done showing what the mod is and what you can do with the mod. Now we like this mod because the Planet Factory is a framework that allows you to do whatever you want. I like your thinking, Shirty. I was saying to Kamuchi earlier on, well, I was saying to the stream, and Kamuchi jumped in and mentioned it as well. We have no idea what would happen to KSP if you put two of the planets on collision course for each other. Nobody has done it, apparently. Now, don't me if your game annihilates itself. I am not responsible. But if you want to go and try it, feel free. You now, one, I've got to hear this one. It goes a little crazy. Well, we kind of guessed it would. Well, the question is, how little? So, in the Planet Factory mod, feel free to take a look at these videos. It does tell you how to do things. Now, you don't need to edit the Planet Factory mod. The mod got ejected and it's no longer on the rails. Oh, someone's got a corruption. How can it corrupt your Windows 8 BIOS? Weird. But how does it come off its rails? And is it off its rails as in you can then doctor it with a chip and adjust its orbit, or is it off its rails as in it's going to leave the universe? Definitely sounds like something that needs playing with. So, getting back on track here. Planet Factory mod gives you framework for changing things. Basically anything to do with the planet. You don't need Planet Factory to install HyperEdit and change things with HyperEdit, but you do need Planet Factory in order to add planets to your KSP. How simple is the install? Well, let's take a read and find out. Simply enough, download instructions, which you can always find the source code for it. Scroll down. Oh, we've got some notes here. It says it's work in progress and there are a few bugs. Yep, fine. There's always bugs, even with KSP. Only use it with save games you don't care about. Yep. Always be aware when you're installing mods, as I was bailing somebody out last night by fixing their KSP after they installed the mod and it worked. Be aware that mods can change a lot of things, including the save game itself. So if you try and remove the mod, it may make the save game no longer loadable. So if you're playing with mods, eventually you will learn which mods can be removed and which ones can't. But basically, make a backup of your saves directory. That's within the KSP main directory. Also, you might want to make a backup of the game data directory before you install the mod. Because one thing that I've found is that sometimes installing a mod can actually change things in other directories other than its own. For example, if you've got a texture replacer, for example, installing the say the Kerbal biosuits, or which one is it? Is it Curve and Shine or something like that? Can put additional configs in the texture replacer directory to basically change things throughout the entire game. So even when you remove the mod, those configs are still there and will still be persistent. But without the mod, they can cause a load of trouble. So it's always a good idea to, first of all, put a mod on a separate install, which is just a simple case of copying the original game that's unmodified to yet another directory, and then you can go ahead and install the mod to that and have a play around with it to see if you like it. Something that we've done quite a bit on within these streams. So, and then basically you throw the mod in, you play with the mod, you decide you like it, so when you make a backup of your favourite KSP directory, and then you're going to throw it in. So taking a look, notes from the thread, as threads get older and mods get older, a lot of the information that people post up about the mod, the author will sort of grab them and put them on the very first page. So basically you can read them without having to read the entire thread. So grabbing a mod is pretty much simple and straightforward. In this case, it's got a very weird address to get to. Most of them are either on Curse or what's the other one? But this one's on a OneDrive. So there's the file on this case. Just click on it, and it should ask me to download. I hate OneDrives. Come on. Is there another link available? No, there isn't anymore. Oh, okay, that'll do it. Just right click on it and get to download. What are you playing at? There we go. I'm going to save the file. Don't forget this is Firefox, and my Firefox is probably set up completely different to everyone else's. But in this particular case, we're going into our games directory, KSP mods, 0.90, and we're going to save it into there. It's not doing too bad considering I'm streaming at the same time. So just sit and wait for it to download. Still going. So it's stalled then for a minute. Most of the mods are pretty small, but obviously with streaming at the moment, most of my bandwidth is actually taken up by sending audio and video. It takes an awful long time. And hey presto, so let's go and pull up that mods directory. And we want Planet Factory. Well, strangely enough, we've already got one in there. So let's take a look at the mod itself. Again, most mods, if they are changing the functions of KSP, will come with a DLL. It has a few directories that basically have things like additional graphics, clouds that looks like. You'll have buttons. Well, that look quite intriguing. You'll notice config files. We like config files. Here it is. We've seen this structure of config files before many times. Celestial body, open brackets, close brackets. PQS, open brackets, close brackets. Same with these values, although not quite easy to read. Parameter and then equals. Parameter equals. Parameter equals. And it's all legible. It's all characters. You don't need any special software to edit it. Just your standard notepad, wordpad, whatever you use for text editing. In my case, I use Notepad++, because it allows me to have multiple tabs open in the same window. So, description here, funny red planet, home planet of the legendary Kragski area. God, it's even far out for me to get my head around. So, static pressure ASL, that's above sea level, is 1. Fair enough. Single atmosphere strength. Atmosphere scale height 7. That's just to scale the height above sea level. Atmosphere contains oxygen. False. Feel free to change that to true if you wish. Max atmosphere altitude. That's the height that the atmosphere goes up to. Atmosphere multiplier. Multiplier for what? Interesting config value. Atmosphere temperature multiplier. Well, that one looks like it would be the gradient for setting basically the air temperature. Oh, there you go. There's config values you can change straight away. PQS, well, they're commented out. Nope, we're modding the mods. We're downloading the mod, and I'm showing you exactly how to change the mod to make it do whatever you want to do. In this particular case, we're changing the Kerbalverse. So PQS land control. Mod enable is basically for the mod itself. So true or false. So basically land control is basically the surface. So create cause false, so it basically says yes, we've got the mod there, but we're going to leave it alone for the time being. Vertex color maps basically allows you to how can I put it? The texture is applied to the surface of the planet, or even a ship part. It's done in a similar sort of way. But what you can do is you can change how the colours show up from that texture that you're applying. So if we take a planet that has a peak on it and you apply a texture over that planet, if you have, say, snow on the peak of that mountain, you can change how the texture is loaded so that the peak would, say, glow in sunlight, so it looks like it's reflecting. That is basically what this does. Now, most beginners, that's going to be well outside what most people are capable of doing. It usually takes a lot of tweaking and fiddling around with. So map decal basically just gets very complicated. So let's go ahead and skip that one. Oh, I will take a look at that picture in a minute, Shirty. So, vertex color map blending, we're going to skip that. that would probably take me all night to explain. So scaled export. Basically, we're using the Duna template here. Somehow, Shirty, I knew you'd go and test it. So, basically, we're using Duna as a template for the planet itself. So, we're basically tweaking Duna at this point. Or you can select any of the others, Ike, Moho, Val, any of them. So map width and map heights basically set a box to work to. Has ocean, that should be self-explanatory. Ocean height, as far as I'm aware, that's always 0, but it doesn't have to be. Export bin and remove alpha. To be honest, leave them alone. Orbit, that's where its orbit is set. So, where you saw us using HyperEdit to adjust the stock planet's orbit, right? This is how you do it in Planet Factory. So there's your inclination, there's your eccentricity, semi-major axis, LAN, augment of, augment of perigee, as I would say, but it's periapsis, the KSP. Pretty much ignore them. And then reference body is what it's orbiting. So these two are basically just to do with the model of the planet itself. So we're going to go ahead and ignore them for the time being. Vertex height map, again, it's all model related. But don't forget that if you do scale any part of the planet's mountains, etc., or even if you rescale the planet itself, you do have to make sure that your planet map matches what you've actually done to the model. Otherwise, you will end up with a bucket load of problems. For example, on the Mun, if you fly in a polar orbit, you will notice all the terrain around the poles gets really, really funky. That is basically the way that KSP molds a flat mesh into a ball, and it needs a little bit of tweaking. Even the developers themselves admit to that. So that's one of the pitfalls that you'll have to negotiate if you make your own planet. Let's come back out and let's see what else we can find over here. So we've looked at the maps. It's in Barry. What have we got in here? As you can see, if you take a look between these three, they are, well, the human brain would say they are the same image, but they're not, because they're 4 different functions. And that's what that config that we were just looking at loads in. So it's all the height maps, the highlighting, the reflections. Same goes for this one. If you take a look at that, within your own download, it will look nothing like the surface. However, you will pick up features on there, like that crater, that actually corresponds with that crater there and that one. So it's a feature map rather than a texture map, for example. So we've got the data file for the planet, and there's the config. Shall we take a look at the config? Why not? So again, it's exactly the same format that we've seen throughout the entirety of KSP. Pretty much every single config that you'll come across is the exact same way. So again, that's how you change its orbit. And then you've got the other features of how's the ocean? That's the ocean height. Where is oh, in that case then. Well, this config doesn't give you the option for has atmosphere, but you can always go and get the parameter from the other config and copy it over, as long as you put it in the same place. So, brief recap. We used HyperEdit to edit the stock planets and put them into completely insane orbits. Right? That was all done from within the game itself. Now, the Planet Factory mod gives you a basically a framework that allows you to add in additional planets and configure them the way you want them to. So, strictly speaking, you can go to the nth degree with planets. You can have 50, 100 planets in there. Let's take a look at what Shirty has actually sent us. Typical. Oh, something's got a screw there. Hang on. Yeah, it's on a collision course. Okay. That one's a bit dark there, Shirty. Yeah, it looks like the meshes have come together, but it hasn't hit the collision mesh yet. Oh, that's it. Don't you just love editing the game to do things it was never supposed to do? Yeah. I can see the icon for him over there. Let's have a look. Has it passed all the way through the planet? Why is it not? Oh. And Jeb's in Kerbin, yeah. Now, that's interesting. How can that not be on rails anymore? That's not even being affected by Kerbin's gravity, is it? Because it's not simulating physics on the Mon. Because none of the planets get physics simulated. It's only the ships that get physics simulated. So I would guess that's travelling in a straight line. Ah. But you've got no orbit info for it though, have you? That's just gone completely. It circles Kerbin but not in a solid orbit. Now that sounds like fun. In what way is the orbit not solid? Because I'm looking at it here. Greetings, LTL King. Watching your vid uploaded a few hours ago. That will be the stream that I'm doing now, I think. Having one item or body suddenly jump into another SOI. Yeah, that can happen. Basically, if the orbits of your satellites, with them being so close to the Mon, if they enter the Mon's SOI with their velocity, basically the Mon's gravity isn't as strong as Kerbin's. So, because of the way KSP tries to simulate gravity, and it ends up sort of throwing it off out and somewhere around your Kerbalverse. Greetings, Skit. So that's... hang on, wait a minute. What's he doing on the surface of Mon? Are you Shirty, are you telling me that by gliding the Mon into Kerbin, you are able to transfer Jebediah from the surface of Kerbin to the surface of the Mon without any rockets at all? Just let's clarify this one. So I wouldn't have thought that would have been possible. Okay, LTL King. That sounds like a game glitch, which can happen from time to time. Not sure on that. It sounds like a Flash issue. Try re-downloading and reinstalling Adobe Flash Player. The issue with KSP, that's very odd. Try and replicate it. Basically do it again and see if it does the same thing again. Well, Skit, strictly speaking, you shouldn't be using it in Danger Dan's forum either. Now that's... First of all, I'm impressed, Shirty, that you'd be nuts enough to edit the Mun's orbit to basically pass through Kerbal. Since I said that we didn't know exactly what would happen. I'll think about allowing it, Skit. Just for you, I'll think about it. So, as everyone's seen here live on the stream, we didn't know what would happen when we set two planets on the collision course. Well, now we have one example of what happens. So, how do we find out what happens? Well, we go ahead and do it. And then just watch the results. And Shirty has provided a load of screen caps basically showing what happened to him. So, but just be aware that when you do go into KSP and you do start playing around with the planets, that it can completely screw up your KSP. So I wouldn't recommend doing it on your save game, on your favourite save game that you've spent many hours setting stuff up for, only to find that it might corrupt the save game. So backups of your save game directory, always advisable. And just for one person that is in chat, just to repeat that, backing up your save games is always advisable, as well as your game data directory if you're installing mods. Just giving a certain person a bit of grief. Which actually, said person isn't in chat, the one that bulked up Skit's install, but oh well. So, let's take a look here. Going all the way back. Planet Pack requires the Planet Factory mod. So the Planet Pack basically changes the way another mod works. So there's absolutely no reason why we can't do that as well. So let's go and take a look at this one now. Oh, it seems like I've already got it. Interesting. thought I had. Downloaded one, but not the other one. So, taking a look in here, got the game data directory, planet factory directory, plugin data, planet factory, yes, Govern Plus, and here it is. Oh, config file. We like config files. It's a bit too big. There we go. So it adds these planets in. Let's take a look at Chi. Well, that's the same layout that we've been seeing all the way through. And open brackets, close brackets. Parameter and it equals value. Parameter equals value. All the way through. Simple enough to edit them. Obviously the parameters you don't edit, but the values you can. So in this particular case, Chi is taking the template from Numbness and then it's changing it to make its own. Uh-oh. Shirty's having fun again. So, Flight Globals Index, not got a clue. I think that's internally within the no skit, you can't. I think that's internal within the mod itself, so you probably need to look up to see if there's any API documentation as to what that one does. Celestial body, well, body description, self-explanatory. G. Oh, I've not seen that one before, but ASL is always above sea level. Oh, that looks like it's going to be another one to... I'm going to have to get rid of chat if you carry on distracting me. So that looks like another one that you're going to have to look up in the documentation. Radius, well, we know what that one is. That's the radius of the planet. Right. Again, here, all the stuff on atmosphere. / commented out, so it's whatever the default state is, which I believe is false. So if you wanted to add an atmosphere to it, that's how you do it. Rotation period, that's how fast the planet's spinning. Rotates, true or false, is it spinning or is it tidally locked, which is what that one does. So the PQS, radius, well, those two match. Orbit, there's all your orbit information. Create your own planet, set it in an orbit, and feel free to play Conquerors with your planets as well. Or Newton's Cradle. Although strictly speaking it won't actually do that, but you can always try. So after that we then start looking at the meshes of the planets, how they get changed, how they're mapped. Coming down even further, we have lighting effects by the looks of it. Yep, that looks like lighting effects that are applied to different sections of the planet itself. So that would be one feature of the mod that you can use to make bright, wonderful, glowing planets. Yep. So, shall we go and whack these mods in and take a look at what effect it actually has on KSP? Yes, we will. So just bear with me. I need to go out of KSP on the right screen, and we're going to apply this mod because it's the first time we're using it. We're going to apply it to a completely fresh install of KSP so it doesn't screw anything up for us. We're going to go to here, and we have KSP 0.90 unmodded. So we're going to make a copy of that and paste. And set that churner in along. Clamping it doesn't help much. Okay, gonna have to have a look at this. Yep, that doesn't help much. What does it say when you hit F3? I would have thought the collision mesh for the mud, the one that's underneath the terrain mesh, would have just wiped out anything that's on the surface. You know, a bit like flying into Joule. You can't see its height mesh, but you can see when you hit its collision mesh, you go boom. Same goes for the sun, actually, thinking about it. And then we just thought, I'll sit here and wait for Shirty to fly a planet into the sun. Right, where's the stretch room? There's our unmodded KSP. So we're just going to name it and call it Planet Factory. That way we know what it is. Oh, gold. So we're going to go into the... no, we're not. Let's save a little bit of time here. Open up another window first. So we're going to go into the KSP that we've assigned for Planet Factory. And I know that everything gets installed into game directory. Game data, sorry. So let's go and find the two mods. So we've got Planet Factory itself, which is the first one to go in. So literally, oops, copy it over. And then Planet Factory Kerbalverse Plus. Same directory again, which is okay. It's going to give us a warning about overwriting. That's fine. And job done. So let's go and fire up a KSP and see what we've done to it. Now hopefully this won't take too long to boot, and hopefully it won't mess around with OBS too much. Nothing in F3 at all. It's interesting. Oh, has it chucked Bill out of his chair? That's interesting. It has. Yeah, you can't see the mun from the inside out. The developers didn't account for us nutcases that are able to get ships inside celestial bodies. What? Flight status landing at the runway. Yeah, Shirty, I'm starting to think you'd take after Danny. Right, KSP has started, so let's go and chuck you over. When OBS catches up with me. There we go. Oh, KSP's struggling a little bit. For some reason. I don't know what I was doing in this sandbox, but okay. So basically this is just the standard settings that come with the mod itself. Well, that's different. Yukon. Now, who put Minmus out there? Oh wait, that's its normal orbit. So there's Yukon. That's a new planet that's orbiting Kerber. There's Loon. Did I remember seeing something orbiting Loon? Yes, I did. What's this? Oh, we've got one called Min on this one. Well, I'm pretty sure those that have been watching the stream will recognise that texture. And that's how you apply texture to planets. Let's take a look over here. Anything orbiting this? Nice bright orange ball. You know, I think I quite like this mod. That's standard mon. Docking test. Oh, that's what I was doing. I used the standard KSP to file a bug report with Squad. Let's have a look at the rest of them. Well, there's Elo. What's this one? Inaccessible. Really? Oh, there's Barry that we're looking at. There's Stella. There's Sirius. There's Centaur. Inaccessible. Doesn't appear to be there. Now, why would that be inaccessible? Oh, because it's a pebble, that's why. I would say because of its size and its rotational speed, I would say you can't land on that without using the grapple. Now that would be fun. Now that does give me some interesting ideas. What happens if you dock a very long ship to it via the grapple? I wonder if KSP models centrifugal forces grapple. Actually, I already know the answer to that. It does. Now that's looking a very nice system. Do I have Hyper-Edit installed? No, I don't. Isn't that just typical? You know what? Just bear with me, I'm going to chuck Hyper-Edit on. What did you do, Shirty? From Curvin to LSC. LSC? OPM, it's the Planet Factory skit. Well, this is what happens. I just realised chat's not on screen. Dope. There we go. Let's trick you through to the some of the screen caps of what I've been up to while I restart KSP. So just bear with me. I'm going to put Hyper-Edit in and see if we can try something. There's Hyper-Edit. Actually, you know what? I can actually show you this process, and that's another mod I'll show you how to install. Chuck you over to my right hand monitor. There's Hyper-Edit. Game data folder. So we grab that folder. I'm going in there. Copy, release. Job done. So now we start KSP. Hey Skit, I had my first group of trolls tonight. Yep. But they seemed to disappear when I timed them out, which was odd. I don't think the timeout was actually for very long. Nope, I did it. It is Craig's Planet Factory that we're using here. Kind of like the look of it, or at least do so far. So, want to see if we can use Hyper-Edit, which I showed you earlier in the stream, on how to edit stock planets. See if we can use Hyper-Edit to edit the planets of the new ones that the Planet Factory puts in. Kind of curious. Wonder if HyperEdit's that intelligent. Yeah, chat up till now has been like uneventful. Or should I say, up until earlier on, it was quite uneventful. First group of trolls in tonight. Well, they weren't trolling so much as they were just blatantly abusing the rules. So, there's OBS. I'm going to chuck you over to KSP. Go to the right hand monitor. And let's go and take a look. Now we should, hopefully, HyperEdit will be intelligent enough to know that Planet Factory is installed. So let's bring up HyperEdit. Orbit Editor, let's take a look. Oops, oh well, let's hope to agree. There they are. Well, it's recognised that they're in. So let's take Yukon. Oh, there's a lot of new planets in here. Ooh. Wow. Where's Yukon? There it is. This looks like it's going to be fun. Inclination of 0. Oh, yeah. Okay, I can add that to my mod list then. So, let's just recap what I've just demonstrated, shall we? We installed the Planet Factory mod with the Kerbin++ pack, which is 2 separate mods, but they go hand in hand. We also installed the HyperEdit mod, which allows you to do various things. And it seems that we can edit planets themselves with